Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican for the New Year's celebration of World Peace Day and the Feast of Mary, Mother of God. Pope Francis had chosen to focus on migrants and refugees and their yearning for peace. Before reciting the Angelus prayer before a crowd of about 40,000 in St. Peter's Square, the Pope told them that it is important that everyone, including individuals, governments, schools, churches, and school agencies, make a commitment to ensuring refugees and migrants everyone a future of peace. Pope Francis had begun the day celebrating Mass in St. Peter's Basilica for the Marian Feast, which he said was a celebration of a magnificent truth about God and about ourselves. From the moment that our Lord became incarnate in Mary and for all time, he took on our humanity. To call Mary the Mother of God reminds us, he said, that God is close to humanity, even as a child is close to the mother who bears him in her womb. More news from the Vatican. Speaking recently to members of the Italian Theological Association at the Vatican, Pope Francis told them that in an increasingly complex world of unprecedented scientific and technological challenges, theologians must communicate what is essential about life and help Christians proclaim God's merciful saving grace. Rome Reports has more on the meeting from the Vatican.
For Pope Francis, the theologian isn't just a simple scholar of God, but rather much more. He or she is a scholar at the service of a people, the Church, to which he or she belongs and is nurtured by. There's no room for individualist theologians who compete amongst themselves to see who knows more. Before members of the Italian Theological Association, the Pope said theology must be used to help evangelize.
C'è bisogno di una teologia che aiuti tutti i cristiani ad annunciare e mostrare soprattutto il volto salvifico di Dio, Dio misericordioso, specie al cospetto di alcune inedite sfide che coinvolgono oggi l'umano.
Pope Francis met with the organization in honor of its 50th anniversary. The association was created with the goal of helping people understand the Second Vatican Council.
In news now from Rome, during this Christmas season, as we mentioned in previous news reports, the Vatican's Nativity scene in St. Peter's Square is a very popular place for visitors to visit and reflect on the birth of Jesus. However, there is another popular place in Rome to visit not one, but over 100 nativity scenes. It's an exhibit and competition that has been going on for over 40 years now. Rome Reports has more on the 100 Nativity Scenes Exposition.
This was the joyful opening ceremony for the 100 Nativity Scenes Exposition, one of the most well-known Christmas exhibitions in the world. It will be open in Rome until January 7th.
Some nativity builders are artists who've participated with us for many years, but this year there are 45 first-timers. There's a beautiful variety. This event has become a benchmark for world craftsmanship.
This exhibit began 42 years ago. During the Christmas season, Maria Carla's father noticed people were focusing on tree decoration and not the nativity scene. He met with his friends one day to present just over 10 of these displays. Now, his daughter is continuing the tradition with 152. They vary from large to small, made of ceramic, wool, cloth, wood, or even glass. Each one is unique and contains representative elements from its place of origin. The competition has 3 categories: fantasy, traditional, and ones built in schools and social aid centers. Each year, more artists want to compete.
We've received nearly 453 applications this year, but we're only able to accept 152. It's a difficult decision, so the displayed works are of great artisanal quality.
One of the most special characteristics of this edition is the presence of social works. Maria Carla assures the Villa Marani Foundation's entry is the one that impacted her the most.
These guys have constructed a nativity scene denouncing femicide. They did it so well that one gets emotional upon seeing it. They have a great awareness.
This display from Poland will be donated to Pope Francis once the contest is finished on January 8th. Will the Pope want to decorate the Vatican with this peculiar nativity scene?
And finally in the news, as the year was coming to a close on December 30th, Pope Francis had the Vatican Press Office and Vatican Media distribute a copy of a famous photo from the aftermath of the atomic bombing of Nagasaki, Japan. The photo shows a young boy about 10 years old carrying his dead little brother on his back. The boy is taking his brother to be cremated. On the back of the card, Pope Francis wrote, "The fruit of war," and signed his name. Below his signature, the Pope explained that the photo was taken by U.S. Marine Corps photographer Joseph Roger O'Donnell after the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. O'Donnell was assigned to document the scenes. The Pope wrote that the sadness of the child is expressed only by his lips, bitten and oozing blood. L'Osservatore Romano, the Vatican newspaper, printed a copy of the photograph and the Pope's explanation on the back page of its edition for January 1st, World Peace Day. Well, that's all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.